You didn't just stumble upon this video. Something in you was drawn here, maybe quietly, maybe urgently, like a whisper beneath the surface of your life, finally rising to the top. And that's because this isn't just a message, it's a summoning, a memory you didn't know you had, a prophecy that was never written in books but buried in bones, in bloodlines, in the deep ancestral silence of your soul. For 5,000 years, something ancient has been sleeping inside humanity. And now in 2025, it's starting to wake up. Not in headlines, not in politicians or news feeds, but in you. And if you're a Scorpio or carry its essence in your soul, what comes next is not random, it's destiny. There's a reason you've always felt like an outsider, a reason why betrayal shaped your earliest relationships, a reason why you were drawn to mysteries no one around you dared to look at. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Scorpio was never meant to live a normal life. It was meant to burn through illusions and rise from the ashes with sight others don't have. What if I told you that every pain you've endured was part of a greater cycle? Not personal punishment, but the breaking of a karmic code written across centuries. What if your shadow wasn't your weakness, but your gateway? You see, Scorpio isn't just a zodiac sign, it's an archetype, a sacred role encoded into the soul of history. It's the scorpion, yes, the one that stings, but it's also the snake that sheds and the phoenix that ascends. 3 lives, 1 purpose: to destroy the lie, to survive the death, to awaken the truth. In the year 2025, the world will shift in ways most people won't understand. But you will, because this is your cycle, your test, your transformation. And what you do with it may not just change your life, it may change the world. This is not just astrology, this is initiation. Welcome to the 5,000-year prophecy you were born to complete. The shadow is ending, the fire is rising, and the truth is calling your name. Part 1, the whisper that survived 5,000 years. Section 1, the forgotten source. Before there were borders, before there were kings or gods with names, there was a whisper. Not a voice, not a prophecy in stone, but a frequency, a presence, a subtle hum that pulsed through the bones of the earth and the blood of the early human soul. It didn't speak in language, it spoke in symbols. The scorpion etched into cave walls, the snake devouring its own tail, the fire that consumed everything only to make the soil richer. This whisper wasn't human, it was archetypal. And though it had no name, then we now call it by one Scorpio. This was long before zodiac charts or astrologers. Scorpio's essence didn't begin with a horoscope. It began with a cosmic task to expose what is hidden, to burn what is false, to guard the gateway between death and rebirth. In Mesopotamia, priests spoke of the scorpion as both protector and punisher, the one who stung the wicked and guided the worthy into the underworld. In Egypt, high priests warned of a serpent-born soul who would not rule from thrones but from shadow unseen yet unstoppable appearing at the end of an age. The Mayans saw it too. In their long count calendar, they mapped not just seasons, but epochs of transformation cycles where death wasn't feared but necessary. One of those cycles they believed would end when the stars of Scorpio realigned a sign that the old kings would fall and the hidden truth would awaken. These weren't myths, they were memory codes, transmissions across time, meant not for the many, but for the few who would remember when the time was right. And that time is now. Section 2, shadows that ruled empires. As history unfolded, the whisper didn't fade. It went underground just as Scorpio always does. It took refuge in secret chambers, coded symbols, forbidden texts, and unspoken rituals. It's easy to think of Scorpio as a personal zodiac sign, but Scorpio governs more than people, it governs systems. It rules the places where truth is hidden, governments cloaked in secrecy, religions built on guilt, empires founded on betrayal and sustained by fear. Look closely and you'll see the pattern. The Roman Senate masked its rot with eloquence. The medieval church used salvation as a leash. Revolutions were not sudden, they were pressure points that finally exploded after centuries of denial and deception. Every time power consolidated in darkness, Scorpio was there not to celebrate it, but to wait patiently for collapse. This archetype is not about chaos for its own sake. It is about confrontation. It waits in the shadows until the illusion grows too thick to sustain. Then it rips it open. And who are the ones who carry this archetype? Not the rulers, not the comfortable, but the outsiders, the misfits, the intense ones, the ones who ask dangerous questions, the ones who've been betrayed early and deeply, the ones who are told they feel too much, see too much, know too much. Scorpio doesn't choose ease, it chooses truth, and truth has always come at a cost. Section 3. Why the whisper is calling you now. There are things you've always felt but could never explain. That certain people lie without saying a word. That institutions hide more than they reveal. That your pain wasn't random, it was preparing you. You were never meant to sleep through this age. You were meant to awaken in it. The whisper that survived 5,000 years has come back to you. It's not a coincidence that you're watching this video. It's not a coincidence that you've been carrying a deep sense of mission without a clear destination. Scorpio doesn't shout. It sends signs, symbols, patterns, and dreams. It nudges you to look closer, to question the official story, to embrace your intensity, and stop apologizing for what the world can't understand about you. Because here is the truth. The final stage of the 5,000-year cycle isn't something that happens around you. It happens through you. In 2025, as Pluto completes its shift into Aquarius, as the karmic nodes align, as eclipses mark the sky in Scorpio's language, the world will start to unravel. But for those who carry Scorpio's essence, it won't feel like chaos. It will feel like confirmation. The confirmation that the lies are dying. The confirmation that the shadow has completed its reign. The confirmation that the truth, your truth, is no longer a burden. It's a weapon. It's a key. It's your reason for being here. Life lesson from part 1. The truth isn't something you find. It's something you remember. And when the world forgets itself, it turns to those who never did. Reflection. Question for comments. What part of your life has always felt like a secret mission, something deeper than words, something ancient inside you? Share it below. Your story might awaken someone else's. If this message didn't just inform you, but shook something inside you, then you already know what this is. Subscribe to the Path to Buddha Wisdom, because in part 2, we go deeper. How Scorpio's shadow didn't just influence history, it became history, and how that shadow is now unraveling fast. Part 2, when the shadow took over. From sacred knowledge to secret control, the 5,000-year reign of Scorpio's shadow. Section 1, the rise of sacred secrecy. There was a time when truth was sacred, when knowledge was not sold but earned, when transformation required silence, solitude, and surrender. But as humanity grew, something changed. The whisper of Scorpio, the archetype of death, rebirth, and hidden power, began to move from the margins to the center. Temples rose, priesthoods formed, and the first secret societies were born not out of corruption, but reverence. In ancient Mesopotamia, only the high priests could interpret the stars. They stood between the heavens and the people, translating cosmic will into ritual law. But as generations passed, the sacred became institutionalized, and what began as a bridge became a barrier. In Egypt, the priesthood of Amun controlled the fate of pharaohs. The rituals of death and resurrection, once pathways to inner illumination, were used to secure dynastic power and political compliance. Esoteric teachings were withheld not to protect the sacred, but to preserve control. Scorpio's energy had shifted. It was no longer just the guardian of transformation. It had become the gatekeeper of power. and secrecy, once sacred, became a strategy. Section: Power becomes the new religion. The age of empires was built not only with swords and armies, but with myths designed to protect power from scrutiny. Rome wrapped its expansion in noble language: honor, duty, order. But behind those banners lay betrayal, backroom assassinations, and manipulation on a scale unseen. Julius Caesar fell not on the battlefield but by the hands of those he trusted. Scorpio's favorite wound, betrayal by the inner circle, became the pattern of empires to follow. Later, as Christianity spread, Scorpio's energy twisted once more, not through Christ himself, who embodied rebirth, but through institutions that rose in his name. Redemption was sold through guilt, mysticism was buried beneath dogma, and those who sought direct experience of the divine were silenced as heretics. The Church preserved ancient wisdom in its cathedrals and vaults, but locked it away from the masses. Truth again became something you had to ask permission to receive. From the Vatican to colonial powers, Scorpio's archetype ruled not as a light, but as a shadow. The hunger for control, the obsession with secrecy, the ritualization of power. This wasn't accidental. It was the shadow's design. Section 3. Betrayal as a collective cycle. Look at the major turning points of history, and you'll find the same thread: a betrayal, a collapse, a rebirth. Troy was not destroyed by armies, but by a gift. Rome was not ended by invaders, but by internal rot. Religious revolutions, political uprisings, global wars all followed the same cycle. Truth distorted, power hoarded, shadow exposed, system destroyed. Scorpio does not destroy without meaning. It exposes what has become unsustainable. It tears down what refuses to evolve. But humanity rarely welcomes that process. We cling to systems even when they no longer serve. We defend leaders even when they lie. We deny betrayal until it burns us alive. This is why Scorpio's shadow has lasted so long, because we collectively refused to face it. And so it kept repeating. Section 4. The shadow is not evil. It's unintegrated power. There's a mistake many people make about Scorpio. They think it's dangerous, manipulative, dark. But darkness isn't evil, it's unintegrated. The shadow only becomes destructive when it's ignored, denied, or rejected. What humanity has lived through for 5,000 years is not punishment, it is initiation. The secrecy that once hoarded wisdom also preserved it. The betrayals that broke us also woke us. The systems that collapsed cleared space for what comes next. Scorpio teaches that nothing is wasted, not even suffering. Every wound becomes a teacher. Every fall becomes a portal. Every death contains a rebirth. And now in 2025, that rebirth begins. But first, the shadow must complete its reign. And that's why the world feels like it's unraveling. Because it is. And it must. Life lesson from part 2. The shadow is not here to punish you. It's here to purify you. The pain you've carried wasn't pointless. It was preparation. When you understand that everything changes, reflection question: what personal betrayal shaped you most, and what did it awaken in you? Share your story in the comments. Your truth may become someone else's turning point. Call to action. If you've ever felt like the pain in your life was part of something deeper, now you know why. This was never just personal, it was part of a much older story. Subscribe to the path to Buddha wisdom, because in part 3 we finally reach the turning point, the year 2025, and the cosmic alignment that will either ignite your rebirth or deepen the collapse. The fire is coming. Are you ready to walk through it? Part 3, 2025, the year of fire and judgment. This is not the end of the world, it's the end of the lie. And the fire is coming for everything false. Section the cosmic clock strikes. There are moments in history that feel like a whisper, and there are moments that strike like a gong. 2025 is a gong. For thousands of years, astrologers, mystics, and ancient timekeepers looked not just at years, but at cycles, waves that span centuries, tides of shadow and light. And 2025, it's not just another turn on the calendar, it's what they called a hinge year, the moment when an age closes, the moment when the cosmos opens the gate and asks the soul to walk through fire. The ancients watched the stars for signs of judgment, not from a god, but from karmic alignment. Moments when truth could no longer be delayed, when the shadow had to surface, when secrets turned into consequences. They called it many names: the reset, the reckoning, the great turning. But the meaning was the same. The cycle has run its course, and now we are out of time. Section 2. Pluto and the fall of false power. At the center of this moment is a planet, not the one most people think about, not Venus, not Jupiter, but Pluto, the modern ruler of Scorpio, the planet of death, truth, exposure, and irreversible transformation. For years, Pluto has hovered between Capricorn and Aquarius, two signs that govern structures and systems, and in 2020, Pluto fully crosses the line, leaving behind the old powers of control and stepping into the future of awakening. But Pluto doesn't leave quietly. It detonates what it touches. In Capricorn, Pluto exposed the corruption of institutions, governments, corporations, religions. What once appeared eternal has begun to crack. Scandals, whistleblowers, leaks, collapse, all Pluto. And now, as Pluto enters Aquarius, the destruction moves from the outer world to the collective mind, to consciousness itself. Because Aquarius is not about kings, it's about humanity, technology, revolution, mass awakening, which means Pluto is about to dig into what we believe as a species. It's about to purge our illusions about freedom, identity, and truth. And Scorpio, through Pluto, is about to burn away every mask we've worn as a society. This is no longer personal. This is planetary. Section 3. Saturn, karma, and the scales of judgment. If Pluto is the fire, then Saturn is the scale, the keeper of karma, the great teacher, the one who delays until the lesson can no longer wait. In 2025, Saturn intersects the nodes of the moon points in astrology that govern destiny and soul evolution. When this happens, karmic doors swing open, paths diverge, choices lock in, cycles either repeat or end. Saturn doesn't punish, it reveals. It shows you what you've built and whether it can last. If your foundation is false, Saturn will crack it. If your integrity is real, Saturn will bless it. But it will not let you fake it anymore. On a global level, this means policies, ideologies, and empires that have avoided truth will face judgment. On a personal level, it means the same. In 2025, Saturn will look you in the eye and ask, what have you done with your pain? Did you weaponize it or alchemize it? And you must answer not with words, but with your life. Section 4. Eclipse portals and the crossroad. As if Pluto and Saturn weren't enough, 2025 brings another force to the table, the eclipses. Eclipses are not just pretty events, they are cosmic gates. They rip the veil between worlds inner and outer. They end what must end, and they usher in the truth whether we're ready or not. The eclipses of 2025 land in signs tied to power, secrecy, and soul contracts, the very language of Scorpio. These eclipses don't just change your plans, they change your direction. They show you who's real, what's dead, and what you must become. If you've been waiting for the sign, this is it. But it won't come as a soft whisper. It will come as a collapse, a confrontation, a release. And when that moment hits, you won't have time to prepare, only to respond. Life lesson from part 3. The universe is not punishing you, it's exposing what no longer belongs. And if you're brave enough to surrender to that fire, you won't just survive 2025, you'll be reborn by it. Reflection question. What in your life feels like it's reaching a breaking point, not because it's wrong, but because it's already dead? What truth have you been avoiding? Leave your answer in the comments. Truth shared is power reclaimed. If something in you recognizes this fire, not as fear, but as a calling, then you're not just watching this video, you're remembering who you are. Subscribe to the Path to Buddha Wisdom, because in part 4, the fire becomes personal. We'll walk into the Scorpio trial and what it really means to be baptized by betrayal endings and soul fire. Are you ready? Because the trial begins now. Part 4, Trial by Shadow, Baptism by Fire. Scorpio doesn't break you to destroy you. It breaks you to reveal what can never be broken. Section 1. The moment everything falls apart. There is a point in every Scorpio's journey where life doesn't just shift, it shatters. The betrayal you didn't see coming. The sudden loss. The identity collapse that leaves you staring at your own reflection, wondering, who am I now? You may think this moment is random. You may think you did something wrong, but Scorpio knows better. This is not punishment, this is initiation. Because Scorpio's path isn't gentle, it doesn't offer comfort before it offers clarity. It doesn't hand you transformation wrapped in silk. It throws you into the fire to see if what remains is true. And if you're going through that fire, now know this, you're not dying, you're being reborn. Section 2. When the mask burns off. In astrology, other signs refine you. Scorpio rebuilds you after burning everything false. You'll know the trial has begun when things you relied on begin to fall away. The relationship that seemed secure crumbles. The career you gave everything to ends. The belief system that defined you no longer makes sense. And suddenly you're left raw, exposed, stripped of identity. No more mask to wear, no more performance to maintain. This is the moment when most people panic because the ego doesn't know how to survive in truth. But Scorpio was made for this, because the trial is where you finally see the mask was never you. The roles you played, the achiever, the caretaker, the quiet one, the tough one, they were just survival strategies. Now the fire has come to burn the mask, so that your soul can step forward. Section 3. The alchemy of suffering. Scorpio's magic is not in escaping pain, it's in transmuting it. You don't run from the wound, you enter it, you feel every shard of it, and then you let it reshape you. This is what Scorpio archetypes across time have always done. In myth, Persephone descends into Hades not to die but to reclaim her power. In ancient rites, initiates were symbolically buried alive only to rise with awakened sight. In your life, you've been through moments that felt like endings, but somehow you came back different. That's not weakness, that's Scorpio. It's the gift of rebirth through truth, and truth only arrives when the lie finally dies. If you're in pain right now, if everything around you is collapsing, Scorpio's archetype is working through you. The question is not, why is this happening to me? The question is, what part of me was never real and needs to be burned away? Section 4. The power you didn't know was yours. When you pass through the fire, something strange happens. You don't become who you used to be. You don't bounce back. You become someone entirely new. Someone who knows that betrayal didn't break you, it freed you. That endings aren't tragic, they're sacred. That death, whether of a job, a dream, or a self-image, is not the opposite of life. It is what makes life real. Because what is born after the Scorpio fire is not soft, it's unshakable. The kind of power that can walk away without resentment. The kind of clarity that no longer chases validation. The kind of depth that attracts truth and repels everything fake. This is the Scorpio trial completed. Not a return to who you were, but an arrival at who you were always meant to become. And the only way to get there is through the fire. Life lesson from part 4. You are not here to avoid pain. You are here to turn pain into power, to walk through endings not with fear, but with faith that what's being burned was never truly you. Reflection. Prompt. What is falling away in your life right now, and what deeper truth might be trying to emerge beneath the collapse? Share it in the comments. Your trial is real, and your story may help someone else survive theirs. If this part of the journey stirred something inside you, not just recognition, but remembrance, then you're walking the Scorpio path with your eyes open. Subscribe to the Path to Buddha Wisdom, because in part 5 we rise. The Phoenix awakens. Not as a myth, but as the next version of you. The fire was the test, the rebirth is the reward, and it's coming. Part 5. The phoenix doesn't rise gently. Rebirth is not a return, it is a becoming, and what you become after the fire can never be undone. Section 1. Scorpio doesn't rise for applause, it rises in silence. Most people imagine rebirth as a celebration, but Scorpio knows better. Rebirth doesn't come with confetti, it comes after grief, after the silence, after the part of you that once begged to be loved finally dies. The Phoenix Scorpio's highest form doesn't rise because it wants to be seen. It rises because it has nothing left to prove. No more performing, no more chasing, no more explaining your pain to people who were never meant to understand it. The Phoenix does not return to the past. It does not apologize for how deeply it felt, how long it burned, or how far it fell. It simply rises, and in doing so, it becomes what it was always meant to be: unshakable, sovereign, free. Section 2. What the phoenix must leave behind. But the fire doesn't just burn the obvious, it burns the sacred attachments too. And so the phoenix must leave behind more than pain. It must leave behind the comfort of the victim story, the need for revenge, the longing to be understood, the old version of self that fit into a world that no longer exists. Because when you rise, people will try to pull you back to the version of you they once knew, the one who said yes too easily, the one who carried guilt that wasn't theirs, the one who made themselves small so others could feel safe. But you'll know you've changed when their old hooks no longer land, when the invitation to betray yourself again is met with silence. This is what rising costs. Not just the pain of letting go, but the discipline of staying risen. Section 3. The signs you've truly reborn. Rebirth doesn't make you louder, it makes you clearer. You start to notice. You no longer need to explain yourself. You stop negotiating your boundaries. You feel drawn to solitude, not as escape, but as sacred space. You speak less, but when you do, the room shifts. You see through people not with judgment, but with clarity. You no longer confuse chaos with passion. You start choosing peace even if it means walking away. These aren't trends. They're proof that the phoenix in you is no longer a metaphor, it's a reality. And it doesn't seek validation, it brings illumination. Section 4. From survivor to soul guide, Scorpio's final role. The true purpose of Scorpio's rebirth isn't just to survive, it's to guide others through the dark. Because when you've walked through betrayal, silence, loss, and shadow, you gain something no title, no diploma, no success can give you: soul authority. People feel it when they're near you. They can't explain it, but they sense it, that you've been somewhere deep, that you've faced something they haven't, that you've seen the underworld and didn't come back empty. And this is where Scorpio completes its sacred mission, by becoming the mirror for others, not to show them their ego, but their soul. You don't need to rescue anyone, you're not here to fix them, but your presence alone becomes a light that reminds them, if you survived your fire, so can they. Life lesson from part 5. The fire didn't destroy you, it destroyed who you weren't. Now, what rises is not a copy of the past, but the blueprint of your future, and it can never be burned again. Reflection. Prompt. What part of your identity have you released, and what new truth is rising in its place? Share your awakening in the comments. You never know who's watching from inside their fire. If you've made it this far, you've already risen in ways you may not yet see. Subscribe to the Path to Buddha Wisdom, because in part 6 we come full circle. You'll discover what Scorpio's 5,000-year shadow really meant, and how the truth that rises now will shape the next 5,000 years. The phoenix has risen, but the story isn't over. It's only just beginning. Part 6, what you must awaken in you. The prophecy was never about the stars above you. It was about the fire buried inside you. Section 1. The prophecy was never outside of you. You've heard the story. You've felt the shadow. You've walked through the fire. You've watched the phoenix rise. But now comes the most important truth of all. The prophecy was never about Scorpio. It was always about you. Because this archetype, the trials, the betrayals, the rebirths, was never just written in the sky. It was encoded in your blood, in your breakdowns, in your awakening. You weren't just watching a cycle. You are the cycle. You're not a spectator in this shift. You're a carrier of it. And now that you've come this far, you can no longer unknow it. You can no longer pretend that your pain was meaningless or that your intuition was wrong. Everything you've survived has prepared you for what you must now awaken. Section 2, the shadow you carry and must now face. Scorpio's final gift is never comfort, it's truth. And truth always demands reflection. So ask yourself honestly, what part of me still hides behind survival? What truth am I still afraid to speak? What power have I buried so deeply that I've started to believe it doesn't exist? Because Scorpio's light can't be accessed until its shadow is owned, this is your moment to stop running, to stop pretending, to stop performing. Because if you've made it here, then you are ready for what comes next. Not more answers, not more predictions, but a vow that from this moment forward, you will no longer shrink to fit into the world that hurt you. You will no longer silence your knowing to keep the peace with people who fear their own awakening. You will live as someone who has been to the edge and come back changed. Section 3. Scorpio's gift is now yours. Scorpio is no longer just a sign in the sky. It is a frequency you now carry. You've been through the trial. You've earned the fire. Now it's time to become the light bearer for others. This doesn't mean teaching or preaching. It means embodying what you've learned. It means speaking the uncomfortable truth in rooms where silence has reigned for too long. It means walking away from dynamics that still expect you to betray yourself. It means no longer waiting for permission to be the version of you that's already been born. The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more people who faced their shadow and chose to lead with soul anyway. And now, that's you. Section 4. You are the cycle breaker. The 5,000-year shadow is ending. Not because the stars have changed, but because enough souls like you have changed under them. You were never here just to survive. You were here to end the cycle, to refuse the inheritance of secrecy, shame, and silence, to become what others feared so you could remember what they forgot. That truth is not dangerous. That emotion is not weakness. That death is not the enemy. That power is not control, it's clarity. And now you stand on the threshold, not to be saved, but to rise with eyes wide open. Because if Scorpio has taught you anything, it's this. The real revolution isn't in the outer world. It begins in the soul that refuses to lie to itself ever again. And that soul is yours. Life lesson from part 6. The true prophecy of Scorpio isn't destruction, it's devotion to truth, to depth, to becoming someone who no longer fears the end because you've already lived through it and emerged reborn. Final reflection question. What has this journey awakened in you? What truth are you ready to live, not someday, but now? Leave your final reflection in the comments. This is not just the end of a video, it's the beginning of your next cycle. If this story didn't just move you, but transformed you, then the Scorpio prophecy has already done its work. But there's more to explore, more light to claim, more souls to awaken. Subscribe to the path to Buddha wisdom, because the fire hasn't ended, it's moved into you. The shadow has ended, the phoenix has risen. The next era begins in you. Epilogue. The final choice. Fire or fear? You don't need another sign, you are the sign. There will be no more warnings, no more whispers, no more delays. The cycle has turned, the shadow has ended, the phoenix has risen. And now the question is no longer what will happen, but rather what will you choose? Because the fire will not force you, it will only offer. You can cling to what's dying to fear, to stories, to systems. Or you can step into what's awakening the fire inside you that no longer asks for permission to become what you were born to be. This has never been about Scorpio alone. This has always been about what lives in you, what refused to die even when you were broken, what waited in silence even when no one saw you, what still burns even now. So as the world shakes, as the truth rises, as the ashes fall, remember this: the prophecy does not end with a fire. It begins with a choice, and now it's yours to make. Final invitation: if you're ready to carry the flame, not for others, but for yourself, then walk with us. Subscribe to the path to Buddha wisdom. This story is not over, it's just begun.